Adam and Al show November 1st, coming hot off of Halloween, trick-or-treating, candy, dress up, ghouls, goblins, ghosts, spiders.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
And
Red dye, yellow 40, yellow lake. Just shutting down my kid's brains, dude.
Yeah. Turn your kid into a freaking Tasmanian devil.
Turn my kid into a zombie. It turns my kid into like the zombies that you find on the corner of the street in Baltimore City, just like chewing on air.
Philly, California, yeah. The zombies. I mean, that's real. They should turn that into a haunted house. Just put a box over that, and you walk through, and it's just zombies and ghouls. You know?
Yeah.
And now we're gonna terrify you with things like. On our show here, we're going to terrify you with things like the labor market, right? And the Fed's rate decision. And what else are we going to terrify you with? Jobless claims, unemployment rate, inflation.
No!
And the election and how it affects mortgages.
Bum 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 dun dun.
Bum bum bum. So yeah, that's what's on the docket today, and it's scary.
Shaving a haircut. To start us off, I'm going to start us off a little differently. I'm just going to actually read something that I have prepared. Everybody knows Federal Reserve. You know what they've done. You know what you've done.
You know what you've done.
All right. After maintaining rates at a relatively high level of 5.25%, the Fed started slashing rates in September. It dropped the federal funds rate by 50 basis points from 5.25% down to 4.75% and continued to lower it throughout the year, finishing with a rate of 4.25%. These cuts were an attempt to mitigate the economic slowdown, housing crisis, and address growing liquidity concern in the financial sector. And the thing that's crazy about what I just read is that that's a statement from 2007. September 2007, to be exact, 3 months prior to the official start of the infamous recession/collapse of 2008. So does that sound familiar to you, Al? The September...
I'm hoping to have a good day today, by the way. This is how you're starting off your day. Sorry. It's all downhill from here.
No, but...
Yeah, that was... When you told me that, right? When you read that to me, I think I was driving, and you read that to me, and I was like, the whole time you're reading it, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is exactly what happened. We just went through this, and then you hit that last part about that's what happened in the recession. I can't believe that nobody's talking about this right now. Obviously, we don't know if that's what we're on course with, if that's what the direction that we're really heading. But that is absolutely horrifying. I could not believe that. But history doth repeat itself.
Yeah, and you know what? That might not even be the point that we're trying to make here, is like that a recession's impending, but it's just the exact same thing. Like I literally read something from 2007, and anybody in the industry would think I was talking about a month ago.
Right. It's the exact same scenario, to a T, the exact same scenario.
Right. So here's more. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Prior to the Federal Reserve's first 50 basis point rate cut in September 2007, the last time the Federal Reserve cut rates was June 2003, 4 years prior. Fast forward to this most recent Federal Reserve 50 basis point cut in September 2024. The last time the Fed had cut rates was in March 2020, 4 years apart. So
this is just too much. This is a horror movie. We should have done this on Halloween.
Well, it's November 1st. Let's pretend it's Halloween. I'm still scared.
I'm terrified now.
I'm
supposed to be trending toward thankfulness. I'm supposed to be heading into giving thanks, and I'm still living in fear.
You're a comedic genius. All right, listen. Here's the thing. We can pretend it's Halloween, even though Aaron took down the Halloween decorations at our house at 7 o'clock in the morning this morning.
And we know mine will be up for the next 3 weeks at least.
Yeah, well, when you carve your pumpkins Halloween night, you got to keep them up for a while. Just, you know what? add the pumpkins to your gourd and what do they call that?
Little, I don't know. I have no idea what you're the harvest type thing. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah,
yeah. And the gourd and that whole setup. Yeah.
It's called
Thanksgiving-ish.
It's called something.
It's called something.
All right.
You got a name for that?
Cornucopia. Anyway.
Guy's hot today. Guy's dialed in.
All right. So, the reason that I read that is simply because I discovered it and thought, wow, that's pretty crazy, and I want to share that. I don't know what it means, if it means a recession's coming, or, people love drawing these parallels. So, we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just presenting what I found.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just so crazy to me. I could not believe that when you first read it to me. I thought you were literally talking about what we just went through. Only to find out that this is exactly what happened before the recession. And it's just, again, the fact that the election's coming up and just so many things in play. Really just so many things going on. And obviously we don't know if a recession is coming or if the world's going to end on election day or whatever the hell is going to happen, but just it's all very strange. It's all very strange.
It's all very strange. It's all happening.
It's all happening. Let's crank up the cheer in this room and talk about labor markets.
All right, so we got a graphic here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is initial jobless claims. The number of individuals filing for unemployment. So we've been over this before, and it's kind of boring. But this week's number was a little shocking, so I definitely wanted to bring this one up. So the number of individuals filing for unemployment benefits in the U.S. fell by 12,000 from the previous week to 216,000. So this fell for the first time, and it's reaching the same level of mid-May of this year. The next thing that I want to talk about is...
There you go.
All right, so we touched on the jobless claims, which was down. Now the next thing I want to talk about is new jobs added. So the U.S. economy added just 12,000 jobs in October. They're saying it's impacted by the hurricanes and Boeing strikes, but your hurricanes we're looking at, a couple weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
So just 12,000 jobs were added last week. This is 100,000 less than anticipated. That's way off. Seems like a zero is missing. Job creation in October slowed to its weakest pace since late 2020. Also,
in the throes of COVID, by the way, so that was understandable back then. But for right now, it just seems a little wild. I mean,
Also,
the entire country.
Also, revisions were made to previous reported job creation totals by 12,000. So revisions lowered
down by 112,000.
112,000
books.
It's just what's up with that?
I don't know. I don't understand why we can't get this stuff a little bit closer. I mean, 112. I mean, if that number was 12,000, it's like, okay, somebody made, there's an accounting error, right? Somebody dropped a zero. Somebody didn't carry over a one. When you're talking about 112,000, I don't know. What are we doing here? Right? Are we trying to influence markets with that kind of information? I don't know. I'm not saying we are, but I'm not saying we're not.
Right. That's a good. I mean, that's a really good point, and I think it's in the back of everybody's mind. Last thing to note about the labor market: unemployment rate held at 4.1%. So that's that. Just to sum it all up. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Just to sum it all up, initial jobless claims was down, so less people filing for unemployment. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just 12,000 jobs added, much weaker than anticipated, and unemployment rate held at 4.1%. The next thing that we're going to get to here is inflation. So the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation index cooled again, which is it's good. We don't want inflation.
We do not want inflation.
Rearing its ugly head. That would be really bad for everything. The Federal Reserve has been saying that they're no longer concerned with inflation, and all eyes are on the labor market. So if inflation ticked up, that wouldn't be good. Now, if it ticks down, it should be good for rates, right? That's what you would think.
That's what you would think.
So the Federal Reserve's favorite indication of inflation is the personal consumption expenditures price index.
This is your cup of tea. I don't, you get into all this stuff. I'm a meat and potatoes guy, right? I'm a rates and fees guy.
Primary inflation measure, the Federal Reserve rose by 2.1% year over year. And remember, Federal Reserve is targeting 2% for inflation. The 2.1% is down from August's reading of 2.3%. I think this should help fight off any upward pressure on rates caused by the last few weeks of strong labor market data. Should also solidify the Federal Reserve's rate cut decision for next week. So when you take into account 12,000 new jobs added, inflation's not up, unemployment staying steady, I think it's all systems go for a rate cut next week. Why do you say Al?
Oh, I thought you started glitching out there. Maybe I just zoned out. I don't know. I was in another galaxy when you were talking about percentages and all that. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. Here's what I can say. The Fed needs to cut the rates again. I don't know how much it's going to have an impact on mortgage interest rates. I think obviously, the biggest indicator of that is going to be the election, right? And who's winning the election and who people think is going to win the election is going to have a really strong impact on where the Treasury bill goes and all that. All these kind of things factor in. But yeah, just keep dropping it, keep cutting it. Let's just get back to some sort of normalcy. That's what I said.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well,
Put a percentage on that.
The weird thing about the Federal Reserve's rate cuts is, like, if you're paying attention, you hear people talk about, everybody acts like, they knew things were going to happen, and nobody knows what's going to happen. It's just nobody knows. It's nuts. So anyway, the Federal Reserve cut rates by 50 basis points and rates went up. And everybody's like, oh, well, they did too much too soon. And nobody's investing in mortgage-backed securities. Everybody's staying in the stock market. So the 10-year Treasury bond yield, or nobody's buying bonds. So the yield's going up. Right. And that's why rates are going up. So they did too much too soon. And then I heard people saying, when they're thinking about what is the Federal Reserve going to do this next week, and they're like, well, if they don't cut rates, then we should expect mortgage rates to continue to go up. So if they cut by too much, rates go up. If they don't cut at all, rates go up. I think something's up and rates are just going up, and that's that. And
rates are just going up, and it's it's not good, and it needs to stop. We need it to stop. It's quite enough.
We've had
again, once it does come down, once those rates do come down, values are going to go up. So let's not forget about that. Right. So just because rates are going up right now doesn't mean it's a bad time to do anything, especially buy a house. Maybe refinancing, you want to hold off. I get that. But if you're to buy a house, buy now.
All right. Can you see this?
I can see this.
So for this, did you see this?
I did not see this, but I can see this.
Let's just take a look at this. This is Joe Rogan posted this, and this is AI. This is like the best.
No, it's not AI. This is real. This is 100% real.
It's like the best political cartoon ever. Come on, this is perfect. Look at Trudeau.
It's amazing.
Fuck, evil.
This is absolutely amazing. Who the hell comes up with this stuff? This is freaking hilarious.
So how about Kamala's hair? I don't know who that is, but perfect. These politicians are like jokers, and he's just out of it. A lot of Vladimir Putin. A little too much Putin.
Yeah, a lot of Vladimir. Yeah, I'm not sure.
A little too much Putin.
Vladimir Putin.
A little too much Putin. But hey, we're just sharing what we got here. I would like to be in that bar, by the way. Yeah. All right, so this was Joe Rogan posted this morning on Instagram. AI is magic that we are not ready for. It's pretty amazing. It's like ridiculously incredible.
It's so ridiculous. You imagine showing stuff like this to somebody 15 years ago? You have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, these people all got together and made this video.
Yeah.
You know, and I never would have expected that. Maybe the world's going to be okay.
Right.
Not okay. The world is not okay.
It's insane. It's wild. I think maybe like it's like we're it's you sound self-centered and egotistical to think that like we're like experiencing a industrial revolution or some kind of evolution in real time. Like it's pretty self-centered to think that we're like, oh, we're experiencing the transition from one life form to the next.
Yeah.
Like we're like the tadpole realizing that we're becoming a frog, you know?
Yeah. Or if we're saying it like this is like the worst time in history, but you know, the fact of the matter is like there's no plagues. Like we're not going through the Black Plague. We're not going through, you know, there's no crusades going on right now, you know. There's no Mongols, you know, riding from you know, town to town just slaughtering everybody in sight. You know what I mean? So just try to keep it all in perspective. You don't, you know, everybody thinks they're in like the craziest period of history, you know, with everything that's going on. This has got to be getting close to the end. I mean, I think people have been thinking that for probably close to 4,000 years. So just hang in there.
Yeah, and people even experience the end a couple times. If that's what I mean, I don't know. Graham Hancock on Netflix has a good Ancient Apocalypse Netflix special. You should check it out.
I'm up to season 2. It's
nice, so good.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's wrap this thing up, and then we can bullshit a little bit to end it. So last thing that I have prepared is the elections next week. I cannot wait for that to be over. We're getting everybody's, you know, nobody wants to talk about their mortgage with this on their mind. So let's get that over with one way or another. But one thing I wanted to bring up is with the election, and there's a lot of videos coming out, no matter what industry. Oh, if you're selling cars, I'm sure there's videos. If car salesmen are on your algorithm, I'm sure you're seeing like, you know, what's a Kamala Harris win going to do to the audio industry? Well, what's a Trump win, Kamala win going to do to the mortgage industry? I don't know what it's going to do to a lot of things, but I found one interesting piece that I wanted to talk about. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are entities that insure conventional mortgage loans. They set guidelines, they make rules, they give guidance to us lenders, they insure, they issue and insure private mortgage insurance. They set all kinds of parameters for conventional loans.
Yeah.
Those entities are private entities, but in 2008, when the financial collapse and the housing bubble burst, the federal government stepped in and they started oversight project over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So although Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac aren't government entities, they have been for the last 2008, 15 years, I don't know, ish. 16 years. They've had their hold over these private entities. So Donald Trump, when he was in office, it was an incentive, or it was like something that he was trying to do was privatize them again, get them out from underneath the federal government's control. Yeah. So Republicans argue that government control limits competition and puts people at risk of future bailouts. The Republicans favor privatizing these entities, ending government oversight. Simply, I think it's just a foundation of their beliefs. Like, it's become apparent that the Republican Party leans more toward less government, while the Democratic Party leans more toward, you need us. We need to oversight. That's right. So the Republicans, again, argue they want limits on the control from the federal government, while Democrats worry that privatization would raise mortgage costs, as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would need to increase fees to handle the higher risk without a federal backing. Yeah. So now it's important to note that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guarantee half the U.S.'s $12 trillion home loan market. Again, their role is critical in, providing us lenders with guidance and allowing us to do loans. So, it's just two sides of the coin. Yeah. I mean, I think that, I can see kind of both sides. I think that
especially right now more than ever, I think that you need to. I think you need less regulation. I understand the flip side of it, that what happened in 2008 and these kind of no income, no job, no assets, no anything, just step into a house, plant your flag, and get the home, kind of loans that put us in a bad spot. But on the flip side, I think that we do need creativity to help, first-time home buyers, to help people that are struggling to buy a house, right? To really stimulate the housing market.
Yeah. Well, I don't think in 2000. I don't think that those subprime mortgages were Fannie and Freddie. I don't know.
No, they weren't. I think that that's the concern, though. I think that's the concern. If you let these guys go, they're gonna, why wouldn't they push it as far as they possibly could, right? I think we've learned from the mistakes of our past, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, that'd be nice to believe that humans have that trait, but it seems
because then we got to go back to first base. Let's go back and read our first paragraph again about.
Right.
History repeats itself, right? So.
Well, and since we're plugging Graham Hancock, I'll quote him. We're a species with amnesia. The human race is a species with amnesia.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
He's great.
It's absolutely so true.
Yeah.
And so I think he's really great. Actually, and he does ayahuasca. He talks about how he does ayahuasca. He's done it multiple times, and just a unique dude. But anyway, yeah, I think I can see both sides of it. But as far as the election goes, I mean, you have just on one side, what we know is going to happen is that Kamala says that she's going to offer $12,000. Is it to first-time home buyers or is it to anyone?
I think it's 25,000. It's 25.
Or I'm sorry, 25,000. You're right. Yeah.
25,000 first-time home buyers. I think it might be. I think it might be like. I think it might even be not even first-time. I think it's first-generation home buyers. Like I think it's like if you are the first person of your family name in the United States to purchase a home. So like.
You just made that up on the spot.
There's
no way it's first generation. We got to do some research on this. I mean, obviously, now give us a reprieve here. We haven't had to research it, and we don't need to know all the details until it actually happens. We're just trying to, get a little bit ahead of the game here by spitting out some information about it. But if this thing comes to fruition, obviously, we're going to be the most knowledgeable people about it. But no sense
All right. I don't know. Okay, so hold on.
He's getting flustered. He's getting frustrated. He's getting fired up.
Okay, here we go. Let's just I don't know, do you guys like ABC News? Can we rely on them to be telling us what the facts are?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not ABC News. I'm just some guy.
We just go to Kamala's
all right, so ABC News
website.
The Biden-Harris administration, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
The Biden-Harris administration proposed providing $25,000 in down payment assistance for 400,000 first-generation home buyers or home buyers whose parents don't own a home. Okay, there it is.
So that's who it's for? I thought this was like a first-time home buyer, or I thought it was a broader section of the country that was going to have access to this program. I didn't realize that it was just for first-generation home buyers.
Or so $25,000 in down payment assistance for first-generation home buyers or home buyers whose parents don't own a home. And then we have a $10,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. Okay, cool. Thanks for the tax credit. So there you go. There you go.
Huh.
Yeah, indeed, my friend.
So that changes things a little bit. I gotta be honest. I don't know how much impact that's going to have. I mean, I don't know honestly what percentage of the country can take advantage of that program, right? And if it's a sizable enough percentage of the country that it would make sense. Like I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know. 10 million of them. Just 10 million of those. There's 10 million people I can think of. That's just okay. You got a good point there. Yeah, I guess that's who it's directed at. I'm not sure. I can't speak for it.
Yeah, I can't either, but we just read it off ABC News, so don't hate us.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I don't see that helping a whole heck of a lot. You know, it's just going to be very interesting to see. You know, everybody that we talk to, just to give a kind of a pulse of what's going on in the market. Everybody that we talk to, and you know, our colleagues in the industry that we've spoken with, both real estate agents, loan officers, is things have slowed down because everybody's like, oh, I want to see what happens with the election. I want to wait for the election. And the truth of the matter is that really it's not going to impact anything at all right off the bat, right? So if you're in the market right now and you're waiting until November 6th to really start looking to buy a house because you want to see what happens with the election, just doesn't make any sense. It's not like the following day, all of a sudden rates are going to drop or, you know, values are going to go down. We know that once rates do come down, values are going up. That's a guarantee. Unless Adam's prophecy comes true and we fall back into 2008, a recession.
I didn't prophesize that.
Adam's prophecy, the prophesizer Adam.
Don't you dare.
Prophet.
On the other side of things, and you can do your own research on this, but RFK was pretty adamant when he was campaigning. RFK is now notoriously part of the Trump campaign. And his team, if he is to get elected, RFK was very adamant about getting mortgage rates at 3%, whether that's from a government-provided program or policy. So,
yeah. Now, how much of an impact he's going to have since his main focus is on the healthcare side of things, right? So I don't know how much influence he's going to be able to have over these kind of economic issues. But
look,
and who are we to speculate?
Bobby, I'll give you health. You can't have housing and health. You can have health. You're great at health.
I mean,
Everybody loves you with health.
He's a great guy. We love Bobby, right? We love Bobby, but we have to reel him in a little bit. We can't let Bobby run crazy because he's got some crazy ideas, but we're going to let him run with health. He's going to make our people safe again.
Yeah, we got somebody for that. We got somebody for housing. You take care of health. You're fantastic. Look, did I tell you how healthy I am? I don't know if you know this, but I'm extremely healthy. And we're going to have Bobby take care of the health.
Won 28 straight club championships, which is hard to do. Okay, which is hard to do for anybody, but I've done it and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I don't know if you saw me get up in that. There was a dump truck. It's a beautiful dump truck. It's got Trump's name all over it. I don't know how my team did. I got the best team ever. I was on the airplane and I come down and my dump truck's there. Anyway, if you didn't notice, I'm doing the weave here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's politicians making promises. So let's just see what happens. But either way, I think the main point is that the election, down the line is going to have an impact. You're going to see markets react to it, but it should not impact whether or not you're going to do a loan. I think if anything, it's just a distraction from whether or not you're buying a house. It's not going to impact you in the short term. So buy now. Buy.
It's a great time to buy or sell.
It's a great time to buy, right? Otherwise, rates or housing values are going up, and you're going to pay a whole lot more anyway. So, yeah, that's that.
All right, Alvin. We're glitching out. I think it's the universe telling us to wrap it up. We're going to be called bootlickers for doing Donald Trump impersonation. All right, universe. You win, universe.
You started it. I was following